making a major purchase isn't as simple as just clicking buy. There's a whole formal process, and today we're going to break down the very first step in SAP Ariba, something called a sourcing request.
Think about it. Every large organization makes these huge purchases, but how does that initial light bulb moment, that idea for a new supplier or a massive order, turn into an official, trackable project? Where does that journey actually kick off? Well, that journey begins with a formal document called a sourcing request. In the world of SAP Ariba, you can just think of this as the official starting line for any big purchase you're going to make. So what is it exactly? The official definition calls it a formal request to initiate sourcing events and projects. And you got to pay attention to those words, formal and initiate. This isn't just some casual email. It's the real deal, the foundational document that gets the entire process moving. So let's break that down, make it super simple. A sourcing request really just does three things. 1, it's the formal way to ask for something. 2, it spells out exactly what you need, whether it's items or services. And 3, and this is absolutely crucial, it's a request that has to get an official thumbs up and approval before anything else can happen. I love this analogy. Think of it as the starting pistol for a purchasing race. Without that first bang, none of the other runners, like gathering info from vendors or getting proposals, can even leave the starting block. The whole process is literally on hold until that pistol fires. Okay, so that's the what and the why. It's super important. We get it. But that leads to the next big question, right? How do you actually go about creating one in the system? Well, it turns out you've got options. There isn't just one way to do it. There are 2 totally different paths you can take. The first one is what we'll call the dashboard path. It's manual, done by a person right inside Ariba. The second is the external system path, which is automatic, and it gets triggered by a signal from outside Ariba, like from your company's main financial software. All right, let's dive into that first one, the dashboard path. As you can probably guess from the name, this is all about someone creating the request by hand right from inside the SAP Ariba user interface. And here's the thing that's really important to know. This ability isn't locked down to just a few people. The power to create a sourcing request from the dashboard is available to all users, no matter what group or team they're in. It's designed to be open for anyone who needs it. So how does it actually play out? It's pretty straightforward, really. A user logs in and creates the request. That automatically kicks off an approval task. Once it gets that formal green light, boom, a little placeholder project appears. That's the cue for procurement manager to jump in and start building out the real sourcing event. Okay, so that's the manual way. But what about that other path, the external system path? This is for those times when the need for a purchase actually starts somewhere completely different, outside of Ariba altogether. Yeah, this second path is all about automation. It's kind of slick, actually. It works because there's a connection between 3 different systems that are all designed to talk to each other. Your company's main brain, the ERP system, then the SAP Business Network, and finally SAP Ariba Sourcing. Let me walk you through how this automated journey works. It all starts when someone creates a request for quotation, an RFQ, in that external ERP system. That system then automatically shoots the request over through the SAP Business Network, which in turn creates the sourcing request in SAP Ariba. The best part? It all happens without anyone having to lift a finger. It's a totally seamless handoff. All right, so it doesn't really matter how it got there, manually from the dashboard or automatically from another system. The point is, you now have an approved sourcing request. So, now what? How does this initial document actually become a real project? This is where things really start to happen. An event manager takes that approved request and uses it to build the actual sourcing project. They run the event, a supplier wins the business, and then, to bring it all full circle, that award information gets sent right back to the original ERP system. The loop is officially closed. So if there's one thing you take away from all this, it's this. The sourcing request is the absolute critical, can't skip it, first step. It doesn't matter if it starts with a person clicking a button or an automated signal from another system, it is the official gatekeeper for the entire sourcing process. And that, of course, leaves us with the big question. The request is approved, the project is ready to be built. So, what's next on the agenda for that event manager? Do they start with a simple request for information, a full-blown request for proposal, or do they just go straight to an auction? Well, that's a whole other explainer for another day.
Hello and welcome. Today,